Get this thing straight. Let's see if I can find. There it is. For anybody just coming in 1 second, forgot to wipe the lens just to make sure the cameras won't focus. It's crazy. So I'm starting out with I actually used my phone to start this, and I use the looper, right? Come out of that. So I use the looper to create this, and this is in here. I'll show you. iPad. It's an iPad. So, all right, cool. So all I'm using is Flux, which is Relic Flow. I'm sorry, Relic Flux. What am I talking about? It's funny. Relic Flow. Set the tempo you want. I think in this case I use 117. See if I can get it stopped there. So I'm recording that into the looper. And then what I did was I did 3 versions. So I have the regular version, which sounds like this. Then a halftime version, which is like half of that, if you're wondering. In other words, when it's in the looper, you can change the BPM. So if the BPM is going to be 117 and you record into it, and sometimes it does that, so you got to hold the shift, right? Set it to 117, use a 4-bar, whichever, it doesn't really matter. And then I recorded in that part. We'll turn that off. Then I slow it down half to like 50%, like halftime, right? Then I took the halftime and did another version where I put one effect on it, which was just a filter. And then I blended those 3 using the shift resample. And then I get this. So I'm just creating parts. Something that's more textural like in the background. And that's all from here and the looper on the SP404. Okay, so then I went in and used not AUM. I used a felt piano from Spitfire Audio on the computer, and then I added in these chords. So I played using scalar, just using chords to come put them in. Then I have 2 sections of chords with 4 bars each, or 4 chords each, I should say. Then I did bass lines for that using Trillion. So that's for this one. Then this one is for the other one. So I made 2 bass lines. They're just 4-bar bass lines, not that complicated. Okay. A little clap and rim. Hat. play a steady, and then the kick. And then, so I'm just using that, and then I'm making a beat. And so here's what I got. So, and then this one will come in for like a bridge, kind of bringing it down, right? Back to this. And I was gonna, so I'm just playing over the top. What's up, BBN? Yeah, I'm just trying to do a little live, just messing around. This is um, ample sound guitars. They're kind of the 335. So I'm just adding parts to it, right, onto the SP to build it up. Oops. So I'm just playing the lead over it, and I can record the lead when I'm ready. Now, what I do want to do is I want to make this pattern longer because one of the things I hate, I love short patterns on here because they're easier to switch between them. But like this pattern, I know I'm going to play it at least twice, right? And to be able to do a lead, so I'm going to leave it at 8, leave this one at 4, because I only want this one to play once. I'm going to go ahead and copy this over. So all I'm hitting is copy, press, in the pattern mode. And then on this pattern, we're going to add in the lead, that whatever lead I'm going to play. So to make this work the right way or the way I want it to work, I probably should play more than 8, but I'm just going to do 8 for now. And if I want to go back, I can always go back and play another 8 or something, whatever you want to do. And when I say 8, I mean 8 bars because this is only 8 bars. And because the beat's at 117, I'm actually going to do it now. So instead of leaving it at 8 bars, I'm going to duplicate it. Now it's 16. So that's a good 16 for a good lead. I think that's plenty for a lead, and even at 117 BPM, so that's good. All right, so now all I have to do is go in here and record the new part, and I'm going to do that by simply resampling. Now this thing may crash. I'm just going to be straight honest. It has its moments where it does that. I'm going to set it for 16 bars, and then I'm going to pick this pattern because I know it's 16, and it's going to wait for me to play. So I'm going to sit and do this lead real quick. So just bear with me as I play random stuff. And I'm going to catch that beat. 1. So I got to catch that spot. 2. 1, 2, 3. Boom. So I know At that's 16, I'm fine with that. Now there's a workaround, I've said this before, you could use the gated portion. So you see how this is on gate? If you click here and then press gate, it'll fade out and then it won't come around and play it to the next cycle. So that's one way if you want to play longer than 16, but you don't want to tie yourself to 16. It don't matter. I played to 16 at this point. So I'm gonna turn the gate off. To put that into that one, I'm gonna go record, press that pad, and I'm gonna go TRX. If you don't do TRX, then you gotta play it in, and I'm not really wanting to do that because I already played it. So all I want to do is add it to this cycle. I'm gonna hit record, pick this one right here. That's where it's at. Go out of it. Now I know it's in there. See? So this is like playing a live instrument right into it. And if you don't have live, or if you don't have this, you can use whatever you have. So like AUM. Or whatever you have. Alright. I'm not going to use that because it's easier for me to record using this up here. So there's a lead. Oh, let me answer your questions. I'm sorry. What'd you say? Mine's like sometimes deaf. If I play off the iPad, it takes seconds to trigger. Yeah, there is a little lag in there. I noticed that. Um, for some reason, I know it has to do with rolling, um, but I'm trying to understand why it does that. I think it has a lot to do with Roland. I can't really answer that. It's a hard question to answer because Roland should have fixed this by now. Mine crashes sometimes. Like if I resample, I'll be honest, it'll crash on me. Um, Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it now while I'm at the SP. Yeah, just try it out. But yeah, it does crash sometimes. I had it crash twice already earlier when I was recording the bass in. So they need to come out with some little something to work out those quirks. And what's bad is I don't know how you do that because it doesn't do it every time I do resample. So I'll have to figure all that out. One of the things I still have an issue with here, since we're talking about issues, let me get out of here. Oh wait, there. If you go to system settings, so in order to be able to record in, I need to have line in set in this USB in. If I set it to mix, it is supposed to record in, but for some reason it doesn't. It doesn't allow me to record in back into here through the USB in. So I guess if I ran like another cable out of here into this line in and did it, maybe it would work. But for some reason, I haven't figured out why it does that, but I don't know. And I don't know if you know this, but like, let's say you have a long bar. Let's say like this one's 16, but I want to switch in the middle of it. You can hit sub pad and switch to another one instantly. So you don't have to wait for it to switch. Yeah, I'm still doing it now, but if I play off something else, like my machine into the SP, no problem. I think it's an Apple thing. Oh, interesting. Well, I'm glad you said that. If you think it's an Apple thing, I could understand that too. There may be a lag somewhere between. The USB-C thing could be an issue. I don't really know. That's a little past my pay grade, I think, on knowing. But let's see. I have the machine MK3 hooked up into hooked up to the input at the mic, and oh, okay. So you're running it through here. through the mic. So I used to use this when I was playing live bass into this thing, or guitar. Excuse me. When I was playing live into here, like with that, I used to have run stuff through it. Now I just there's an input back here, the input, left, right back here. I just run everything there, to be honest with you. I don't even mess with this. Um, Partially because I really don't have any live instruments like anymore, like I used to. Now I'd hate that. I would rather have some live instruments and play it that way, but it's just so much. It's so much other things to do other than just playing live, and I'm not really like sitting there jamming with people. I'll jam by myself, but I don't really jam in a band, so it changes the dynamics of using live stuff like that. But I don't do go live for a lot of reasons because I can do more videos without going live. And I like to put out more content than I do me just going live. I end up sitting there answering questions more than anything else. Seems like it's just a signal problem. Probably so. Those back ones I have going to the MPC live to going back to the SP. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I want to say it's Apple, but it might be Roland though, man. Because Roland, this thing here, when it comes to resampling, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So let's just try a resample. So if I hit resample here, I'm definitely not doing 16. I'm gonna just do something simple. See, it's working fine on the stream, which is nice to see. The problem I have is not even resampling here. It doesn't crash as much in the regular. But when I go into pattern and I want to resample because I want to record in, if they had made this a little bit easier, where you could just record in and it just put it into automatically do that, where you don't have to do all this extra button mashing, it would be a whole lot better. And what I mean by that is, let's say I want to copy this over to here and I want to just record over to this part. Well, the first thing I have to do is make sure I hit resample, right? Set the length. I think that one's 4 bars if I'm not mistaken. Pick the pad I want it to go to and then arm this. But if you don't make sure this is external in, you won't hear it, right? And see how it did not wait for me, which is wrong. So this is a user error here. But anyway, I was supposed to hit X and I didn't do that. Okay, so going back to the pattern. So yeah, if I want to record in, so you gotta make sure all that's set up. Hit resample. Let's pick this pad here. Then pick this pattern. It's supposed to wait, and it's waiting this time for me. And then, but you see that delay? So that's what you want. I'm just doing this. That was some random gibberish. So right, that's what I want. But you saw how much I had to do that, and then when it crashes, you're in the moment. It's kind of frustrating. I'm not gonna put that in, I don't think, but I'm just gonna show you what I mean. Pick this one, TRX mode. Then you have to go in and select it. So I don't even know what I was playing. I do know what I was playing, but I wasn't really tripping. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy what some of the stuff is. Another thing is too, like all this renaming, it would be cool if you could rename patterns and tell it which one you want to be the hook. Although I kind of remember and you just start building a memory for it, but I usually get this here and then that multi-pad out is the way to go. Let's see what you got. The line input out, put a, I mean, all to, wait, hold on, let me read that again. I'm reading wrong. The line input out, put, oh, okay. I mean, all taken up. I can't have another, can't have another, nothing else plugged in. I get it. Yeah, you can't. My phone jack's plugged into one, goes to my studio monitor speakers, and the other to the task cam. Ah, I see. Is your sync delay on 0? Oh, in the settings, you mean? Is my sync delay on 0? Let's see. Sync delay. Where is sync delay at? Oh, you talking about in the click, or you talking about in the? Let's see if it's under click. Click levels of 1. Nope, it's not under click. Here we go. You talking about MIDI sync? Oh, my sync delay is at 2 milliseconds. Oh, do you find that the 2 milliseconds helps? I never touch it. But honestly, I think the MIDI sync, well, sync delay, I don't know what that is. I thought that referred to something with the MIDI, and I'm not really using MIDI. Yeah, it refers to MIDI. So I'm not really using MIDI though. I'm just using the USB-C and just recording out direct audio to it. So I'm not sure how it relates. Maybe you can tell me. Some say 0 MSS. I could try it. I mean, it won't hurt. Let me try. I'll try to record again. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so here's a copy. Let's just go resample. We'll use this one now that I used everything else. And then set this to 4. So now you got to turn it on. Okay, so turn off loop. Perfect. Go back in. I forgot to feel and see if it worked. Dang it, man. Let's do this again. I'll just record it again. It's not a big deal. All right, so here we go. So we'll go resample. We'll set that to 4. Pick this one. And it's going to wait for me. Oh, a little bit better. Whatever. No, I think you might have something there. It actually seems like it's a little bit better doing it that way. I think you got something. I think you figured out the thing I was stressed about. I'm gonna leave mine like you did right there. 0 helped, man. I think it feel, or at least it feels like it did. It could be because I caught the beat. You know, one of the things I noticed, if you don't catch on this, let's go to here, like here, 2, 3, 4, 2. If you don't catch on that accent on the 1, it'll feel off to me. Let's just try it. I don't know, man. It could be that sync. You could be right on this one. I changed it and it seems to be on now. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's go. Let's delete it. Get out of there. I'm gonna go back into the settings, what you were just telling me. Utility, and I'm gonna turn it back to where stock is at 2 seconds, right? So let's do that. Now let's go back into Mark. See if this does it too. Nope. I don't know, man. I don't feel it now. Like maybe it was in my mind. I'm feeling it, but I don't feel it. Like it doesn't make a. I don't see a difference there. Now that could be because I'm doing it in the looper. Maybe the looper's timing is a little bit different or something. Um, but I really didn't at that given moment. I didn't notice a difference. But for the sake of what you just showed me, I'm gonna do it anyway because I think sync delay has to do with the MIDI and when you're sending something out versus bringing it into the SP. I think that's the difference. Let's go. I just changed my mind a couple of days ago. Still like, still like, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave. Yeah, you still testing it too. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like you said, and I'm gonna use it for a little while, and I'm just gonna see if I feel like there's a difference. On the initial time I recorded with it, it felt like there was a difference. On the looper, I couldn't tell much of anything. But I wonder if it has anything to do with incoming versus sending MIDI out. If that's the case, it may help. And I wonder if it what it does with Koala if it speeds up the triggering. That's something I don't really know either. I got to figure out. But yeah, so this is kind of what the pattern stemmed from. Coming up with that, kind of got that Timberland little, and that all is from Relic Flow on the iPad, and slowing that pitch down. So use your looper if you want to get that. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's my question. We'll find out though. Use your looper, man. The looper is worthy when you want to get those. And then when you want to add in, record in your parts. My hope is, yeah, Relic Flow is fire. You're right. People like sleep on it because it's like $2. It's like a $2 app, but I'm gonna be honest. These $2 apps, I'm starting to like them better than the other apps, just because I have less expectation of them. And then when they give you something cool like that you can sample or whatever, like little percussive and texture backgrounds, the bridge, then back into the hook. I was listening to some Timbaland music, right? That's kind of that's not where this came from. It just I heard a sound, I was listening. But I was listening to some Timbo music, and I realized he's not using a lot in his music. It's just he's got little sprinkles of stuff going on in the background that if you listen, like baby crying and some like awkward little noises and stuff, that kind of just, and but it all cohesively works together, and when you hear it, your mind is not hearing everything at once, but it's all there, and so you constantly listening to it, and then you pick it up and you're like, oh man, I need to, oh wait, what was that? Because I'm still hearing stuff years later in those songs that's been there all this time, and it's just wild how our minds are tricked by just we don't hear everything. Some people do. If they got good ears, they hear everything. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So when you're making your music, in my opinion, I would say add texture, add little bits, put them low in the track, just where they sit in there, so people can want to listen to try to find that little stuff. And that's the difference in a good track to me versus like a track where it's just kind of like, oh, okay, just an average track. Sometimes people do it with their voice, that they can make. I know Andre 3000 does that too, like makes noises and stuff. And he'll use like little noises with his mouth or something in a track, and it's sitting in there and you're like, man, what is that? That's the stuff. Yeah. Oh, you say in Jersey now. Oh, wait, let me read your other message. Audio Pro Kit. I think the name of the company fired two. Yes, Nerd Synth is pretty cool. I don't like everything about it, but I like some of the pads that are in it, and all the other ones. AV3s are dope. Yeah, and it's facts about Timbo. Yeah, Timbo's pretty cool, man. He's something else. Original from the Virginia. Okay, from Virginia Beach, right on. Yeah, I just went to a Justin Timberlake concert about a week or so ago, and man, that was one of that dude puts on a show. And they had a full band, full horn section, everything, and it was incredible. I'm talking about like incredible, incredible. And a lot of his stuff was produced by Timbaland and Pharrell. And if you listen to those songs, those older songs particularly, um, it's just what it is. It's full of texture, and that texture makes the song more. Uh, I think it gives it some life. It brings it to life, in my opinion. Yeah, man, Virginia. That's what's up, Virginia Beach. Tim and the Neptunes are my super. Of course, they're everybody's inspiration. But yeah, I get you, man. Yeah, yeah, that show was fire. I mean, listen, I didn't go in with a lot of expectations. I've seen him once before, like in the suit and tie songs where he dropped what Timbo did with him, with Jay-Z. I had seen him perform, and I knew he was an incredible performer. He can play instruments and everything, but he went all out on the light show. The light show was just like next level. The dancing is of course good, but the lights and the band, oh my goodness. So yeah, and I heard he uses some of Prince folks in his band. So that alone should tell you he is amazing. He is amazing, and he can sing, which is good because you don't want to get there and be disappointed that the person can't even sing. He can actually sing really well. So between that and the songs, but yeah, those Timberland songs with them birds and stuff, I'm telling you, man, he is something else. That dude's mind, where he can take music and just put, I mean, he puts it on another level when he thinks. And I like that about him. And I'm starting to like include more of that in my songs. Like if you caught my album on Bandcamp, the latest one, The Mellow Kid, you'll hear that in a lot of songs like Broken Places and other songs where I've put a lot of textural stuff, glitchy stuff in the background just to give the songs a little more life. You were trying to get signed, but oh, okay, so you some serious. When I was in high school, my boys prank called me like for real and Chad. I wrapped my little heart out. Oh, that's messed up. Yeah, they got the best out of you, right? Trying to get you to. Hey, man, you can't blame me. I can't blame you though for wanting to do that because Pharrell and them, they are incredible too. Like some of the sounds they can come up with to put in these songs, and and now we have technology even that's available to. Because if I'm not mistaken, Timberland uses Ableton. We have all that stuff available to us, like what these big artists are using. It's really just about you and taking it there with your mind and using it, creative stuff. But yeah, I'm about to look at who's this just came in, Mubar. What's up, man? Yeah, I met you over at Mario's stream. Oh, that's right. Yeah, what's going on, Mubar? That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah, Mario's coming out with some really cool stuff. But if you haven't checked these out, I did a video on them recently. Let me see if I can get it in focus here. Let's see. It's really hard to get them in focus, but let me open one of these so you can see it. So these you can use woodwinds to control them, or you can just use them here. But these really are cool. Check these out. They're like the to get all of these together, it's like $13.99. It's the best $13.99 you'll spend. And they have a percussion one too that's really good. And I did a video kind of on that, and I'm waiting to see if they're going to do another bundle because the bundles are much cheaper to grab. Not much cheaper, but I saved like $5 doing it. So anytime you can save, right? That's the way to go. Yeah, let's see. So back to the music. So like I said, this song started with this. Migrated to, and that's a blend of three different versions of that mixed together. Then when you add your chords over the top and you add a beat to it, you come up with. And I'm gonna play the bridge one more time just so you can hear kind of how I did a separate one for the bridge, a little 4-bar. Then I'm gonna come back into the solo. So this is, and I'm doing the solo over the top of the main chorus. Little guitar. To another bridge with another guitar part. So anyway, a lot going on. But it's not at the same time, and that's the key: is how can you make your song sound like it's more, so people want to figure out what's going on versus like just in and out like that. Neptunes went to the same high school as you. Okay. Oh, it's us. Okay, Prince's and high school. Okay, and then what was the neighborhood too in the school after they graduated? Man, they are incredible. Chad and Pharrell are probably two of the most innovative musicians slash producers, I'm gonna call them, that are out there. I mean, and they can go from anything from rock sounding to R&B to pop to like stuff that's hip hop to experimentally sounding. They really have they can do so many different sounds, and that's one of the things that's cool. Timberland can do the same. I feel like he has a niche where it's at, but I think he reinvents himself probably the most I've seen out of all of them. But Pharrell and Chad will go completely bonkers on stuff and do something totally different too. So I don't know. Collectively, they're all incredible. I have a lot of talent coming out of Virginia, that's for sure. I'm sure there's even more there than get that gets no that doesn't get as much notoriety too. Um, but all this stuff is for those that might have, for anybody that might have just come in. All this stuff is, sorry for the squeaky chair. Even the bass is just me playing on Trillion, right? Just using Trillion, playing playing into here recording. So this is not something you can't get or have. If you use the iPad, everything started with the iPad, then I migrated over to the computer. Then when you want to send your stuff out, if you use the SP, then just remember that you can do a multi-pad out. Now, the thing about multi-pad that I've learned by using this is that you got to make sure all your samples are renamed. See how this says mix sample? If you have two samples that say mix sample playing and you don't rename it, like see how this one says new sample? When you do a multi-pad out like that, it's going to override it. So you got to make sure you go in. So instead of new sample, you got to make sure you go in and do this. Now, I like to do it through the computer. It's much faster, but you could do whatever you want. I mean, like if you want to do something simple, you could call this, you could say chords and then put a number behind it. I was thinking chords. Oh, gotta figure out which one works for you. Like something like that, CO1 sample. I personally think it should be named whatever the bank is and the sample that would help, but you could go further, but I'm personally not going to do that here because it takes forever. Oops. This is where it drives me crazy, the SP. I love it for everything else, but it drives me crazy on this. So this could be chords. Right? There's your... And this could be CO2. So please, if you use this thing and you want to save yourself the headache, I went through it a lot. Just rename your samples. Same thing like here. This is the bass. Oh Lord, what is that? Get out of here. You need to stop them, exit here, right? Press the one you want. And this is a bass, so you could call. And I like to let my stuff kind of, I don't even want to do bass, like a bunch of extra there. I'm just gonna go there, bass. This is the first, we're gonna call this bass 02 because this is the second one. Okay, and then that. And then this bass. Make sure you get the right one too, right? Okay, so that's the bridge bass, so that's bass 1. Bass. So this is where the tedious part of it comes that nobody really wants to do. So Roland, I know you could do better and make this a little bit easier for us. the renaming of samples. This is a solo, so I'm using simple stuff. You can get in here really intricate if you want to type it up on the computer. My only purpose here is just to get this out of here. I'm just gonna call it solo. And then I could have called it guitar, I guess. Guess that would have been fine. We'll just call it solo sample. It's not really a sample. It's just, well, I guess it is. It's me sampling myself. And this is a bridge. I think this is a bridge sample. Solo sample 2, we could call it. Remain. I'm going to call it solo. For time purposes, we're just going to call it S1. But you see how lame this is having to do this? Nobody wants to really do all this. Okay. And then you got to rename this one. This is this is my texture, so I'm gonna call it. You gotta figure out what's gonna be your method to this madness, because it'll drive you nuts. Texture. You could call it just texture, but I'm gonna call it. Where's my T? Okay. I'm gonna call it TEX. That way I'll know it's texture. And then that's where I'm gonna leave this one alone because I'm not even using this one. This is the original. And then all my kicks, any sample you bring in, you can see. Oh wait, what am I doing here? Any sample you bring in is gonna already have generally a name, so you don't have to worry about that. So those are all samples that you know, and these now have a name. And so when you go into pattern, if you're doing this and you want this pattern to go out, everything is gonna have its own name. So you'll have to do patterns each one at a time, and that's the challenge. Anybody? Okay. Let me plug up something real quick, just because I don't want the camera to die. So give me 1 second to plug this camera up, and then I'll talk. Oh, I see you just asked the car said something. Don't worry, I'm about to move this stupid little cable out of the way so it doesn't be in your face. What did you say? So that prob was with it not triggering on the weight is coming from my AV3 not having a strong output. Just tested the machine to the SP signal. Works good. Tried a couple apps. Some work, some don't. Oh, so you're saying that when you press, let me see, not having a strong. Oh, you're saying that it's not hearing the trigger. So when you're triggering a sample, like if I'm triggering it here, you're saying that it's not picking up on the sound from whatever you're pressing. Is that what I'm getting at? Or that means that what you're getting at? I'm just trying to make sure. Some apps on the iPad work better than the other. Huh. I thought I understood what you were talking about. I thought you were saying that when you trigger whatever you're triggering, it's not actually triggering it with enough signal to make the input be recognized. Is that what you're saying? Because I haven't had that problem, but I'm also running everything through the USB-C, and I don't know if that makes a difference when you're doing it. I'm not sure, because if I stop right now and use the iPad and do it, which I could, run something through here. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's grab. Also, I don't know if you're running your apps direct, or if you're using like see how I'm using AUM, and then if I unplug, let's just unplug it from here.
and then plug it into the iPad. So if I put up, let's do this. Let's do a tenor sax, and then we'll put something on it just to give it a little life. Ambience, draw it back about 30%. And then we'll go with the large one. Pitch, no sign. Okay, so is that the lag you're talking about? When you say, okay, so I'm gonna not use that. I'm just gonna do a resample here. And it says wait, pad, press pad to start. So now see how it's just recording? That's what we don't want. We're gonna go record. If you go resample, it'll just start automatically. So see how it's waiting? 2, 3, 4. That was supposed to be 4 bars, but whatever. I'm just trying to do it to show you. So you're having trouble with it signaling. Do you have? Give me an app. I'll try it for you on screen. I don't care. I'll try it. Oh, some of the okay. So facts like Iveway Station. I was playing the triggering, but I smashed the keys and it would trigger. But the output of the app was not strong, and I am using the app direct. Didn't even think to use a yeah. So I like AUM because it's a mixer, right? So it's like you have control over the volume of the mix when you send it out. Yeah, when I was at wait, some apps don't trigger. Oh, I see. Yeah, I had that problem too with some apps. And the good thing about being in here is this is just one app. I could use something else to, let's see, replace. I'm trying to think what other apps I have that might not trigger. Um, some of these apps, like Baby Audio stuff, is loud, like seriously loud. Um, I was having trouble with this one, Barista, one time. I like Barista, by the way. Let's see here. We'll have to use because, and here's the thing. I don't know if it was because I'm using. And by the way, if you use this, make sure you set the tempo to whatever tempo is in here. So in other words, if you're using 117, you better make sure you set it for 117 because it's going to play at the tempo in here, not what's in here. It's not MIDI synced like that. So now if I go in and do resample, it's not resample, it's just record. That was such a bad recording because I recorded. All right, because I'm gonna record two notes, so it gives us some variation. All right, so here we go. I still play bad. Okay, whatever. Gate, take it. Sounds so bad. Okay, I'll just do one. Can't help it. I want to do so many. All right, let's try that. Okay, so there we go. Now let's see. I don't know. I'm not having issues with this one, but I can see where that could be a problem. Let me see what you're saying. Yeah, that's the move for. Then I'm gonna use AUM. Yeah, yeah. If you got AUM, man, just use it. Honestly, it's the best too because let's say you want to save a session of what you did, you could save that session and say, "This is what I used for that recording," right? So you wouldn't be stuck to trying to figure out, well, what was this sample or what was that sample, right? You could just you have all your stuff lined up. You go up here and just save it and save it as bank, and you could save it as SP um, project to bank H, or whatever. So that way you know this project in here, depending on how you do your projects, everybody's different. That project is related to these instruments, and you have all the instruments here. That's to me, honestly, that's the best way to do it. If your all your instruments are in the iPad, use AUM and save your instruments. If your instruments are all over the place like me, well, there ain't nothing you can do. Because I'll be using I'll be honest, I use Trillion on there. I'll use all the little one-off apps on here, like Relic Flow or the Fractal Bits and the little small things where I'm just doing weirdo percussion things or I want some glitchy stuff. I'll use that, and then I'll jump on the computer and do the bass, the chords. Sometimes I do chords on here, but the bass, the solo instruments sometimes on here. Sometimes I'm all over the place. It's a hot mess if you ask me. But yeah, everybody's so different in how they line up their stuff. But I would say try AUM if you haven't done so. Um, to have all the instruments here, if iPad, honestly, if you have what is it, Piano Tech, and you could find if iPad just gave me a good, I would be cool if they just gave a good bass app. There's no real bass app other than iFretless, and I don't hate it, but I don't like it. It's not like it's good. I'd almost feel better just to pull out an actual bass and play because I want a real authentic sounding bass, and Trillion just does that for me. Especially if I'm recording into here. However, if they could get me something like that where it's on the iPhone or the iPad, I'd be quite happy. So anyway, I have no issues hardly with this. If you have issues with it, there is another app here. I'll show it to you. It's called Grand Finale. Okay, Grand Finale is made by Clev Grand, and one of the things I do like about Grand Finale is the ability, if you can see here, to they have user presets to basically help you push your sound through through the mix. So there's a clarity, there's all these different ones you have to look through and find it. I primarily use it for bass when I want a bass to cut through the mix. I'm sorry if it's blurry because I'm trying to figure out why. How do I get it better? But yeah, this app here, Grand Finale, is a great app. I'll probably do some videos on some stuff like this, little apps that help you. Um, Another one that's really good, and if you really wanted something that's good, in my opinion, these are all just opinions. If you don't have Tone Boosters Barricade, you should grab that. And especially for the mastering, I use this on desktop too. You can grab this, and there is a loud master setting which has a compressor and a limiter in there. If you take that one and you put it on anything, it'll cut through the mix. I mean, it just is really good. There's an artist, or I don't know if he's an art. He is an artist, but he goes by TikTok, and he's on YouTube. And he when he uses the iPad, I saw him using that, and I didn't know what it was, to be honest with you. So, but I started using it, and it changed everything for me. I used it so much that I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and buy that on desktop too. Why not? Bad Lucks, what's up, bro? Melody and Chinese app. Melody. I'm not sure. Are you talking about when you say Melody and Chinese app? Are you talking about the ones that the new ones that just came out? You talking about the Chinese You talking about these right here, the KA mini ones? If that's what you're referring to, Bad Lux, yes, they are nice. Um, I like them a lot. I actually think between that and the Swam instrument stuff, you got pretty much all the woodwind type. The wind, I'm gonna call them wind because not everything's woodwind, but like the wind type instruments, you got all the wind type instruments you need with those. Um, wait, you said wait, new app? I he may be telling us something new. I don't know, but I think he's talking about. I think he's talking about. I did a video. If you watch my videos, the previous video or so, I talked about those apps, and it's like 13.99 for the bundle. They have a couple other ones too that I need to grab. One's a percussion one, and the other one is some type of. It's another Chinese instrument, but I don't know what it's called. But anyway, so if you grab those, then you pretty much with Swam stuff, you have everything, in my opinion, you need for all those wind instruments. Okay, let's see what you're saying. Yeah, it's just certain apps with the SP for me because the MPC Live 2 has no problem. And I tried AUM now. It's definitely so far certain apps that the output is not strong enough. Yeah, you're right. It's the app because there are some that just do work and some that just don't. So that's why I was saying just get check out that if you don't have Barricade, put Barricade on it if you're having trouble with it, and then you should have more control over the volume if there's no way to raise the volume in the app. Um, most of them have a volume output in there, and you can just turn the output up a little bit more, and you should be good. But yeah, Clev Grand, that's the other one I was telling you about. So anyway, Barricade, Clev Grand. I've been on how long have I been on this thing? For a minute now. Oh, almost an hour. It's pretty cool. So I just wanted to show you guys. Really, I was just kind of jamming and messing around and came up with this little idea. So hopefully you picked up some stuff. If not, you can ask questions anytime on any video. I'm always down for answering questions if I can answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll direct you somewhere else that may know the answer. Um, but yeah, the SP man, it's a lot of fun. You can do some cool stuff with it. You can basically come up with the whole song here. The part I don't like in the SP is trying to finish the song in here. I just don't want to finish it in here. And that's just because I like to see my waveforms in a linear view, and it makes it easier for me to finalize and mix and master faster. That was a lot of stuff rhyming in there. But anyway, I am not a rhyme smith by any means necessary. But yeah, so think about that. If you got some unique ways and you have a YouTube channel too, and you're watching this, share your unique ways of how you go about finishing products in the SP. Because I think that's the one thing people don't do, or I don't see the most of. People will perform with it, but I'm talking about finishing an actual song. I know you can perform with it. It's a performance machine. It does that well. But how do you finish a song here? And I'm talking about a good song too. Don't not something that's just a repetitive beat. I can do that. I can sit here and make copies of the same thing. But how can you finish a song? I would love to see somebody put together a video like that. Bad Lucks. What do you say? What's a good iOS app for great pad sounds? Actually, BBN was just talking about that. One of the ones, there's quite a few that are out there. One of the ones that's affordable right now that just came out not too long ago is called. Let me find it for you. It's made by. It's called Nerd Synth. This is Nerd Synth, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Um, yeah, we'll do that later. So in here, if you look, there's some artist version in here too, and you can like somatics. He has a lot of drones and pads in here. This app is, I think, it might be off sale, but it was on sale for $4.99. If you don't, or if it's not on sale right now, grab it during Black Friday for sure. That one's cool. Another one that is really cool for pads is if you want something weird with pads, the Operella one that's made by Sugar Bites is really good. Let Let me think about what other ones are good for pads. That's the ones that come to mind offhand. There's other ones that do or could do pads, but they're not really like made for pads necessarily. But I do know if you want like ambient like sounds or whatever, like reverb to make ambient, instant ambient in my opinion, Black Hole by Event Audio. I'm sorry, Event Tide is really good for that. If you don't even have to change those settings, just drop that thing on it and instant ambient comes out. It's insane. Continua is pretty good too. This one right here has some pretty good pads in it. And if you look at, they have artist ones and factory. I think if you go to the factory, yeah, pads and atmospheres. So did it open? There we go. Yeah, so there's not a lot in here, but if you want to make good pads and stuff like that, it's pretty fun for that. There's so many out there. Um, Another one that has some pads in it by Moog is Model 15. So you probably can't hear that, but there's a ton of pads and things in this one too. Leads, pads. And you can buy their preset packs, and there's free ones out there that people made. So you can grab that. Let's see what other ones are out there. The gospel musician stuff is pretty good, like Neo Soul Keys or Pure Synth Platinum. This one's not doesn't have a lot of pads in it, but the Pure Synth Platinum does. I don't think I have that one on here because it takes up a lot of room on your device. I'll be honest about that. Takes up a ton of room. And that's the ones that stand out to me. If somebody else knows any of this in the chat, please put your favorites in there. Somebody put Continuum for gnarly ambient. Yes, indeed. That is so true. Other desert cities, I have that one. That one's really good too. I need to use that one more often, but I don't. I should though. Um, yeah, Terraverse. Yeah, BBN. That's the one. I forgot about that one. I need to pull that out. Xenomatic. The only reason I never promoted that thing was one, they was too expensive. Now it's cheaper, but I find with that one, cinematic. I think it's called cinematics or Zenomatics or something like that. That one is kind of buggy for me sometimes, and it takes up a lot of space, by the way. But if you got it on your iPad, why not use it, right? Do you have Logic Pro 11? I have Logic Pro 11 on desktop. I do not have it on iPad. I don't use Logic very often, and I'm more Ableton driven. And if I were to use Logic, what I would do is probably just use the. I did a video on it too recently. The one thing I like is the stem separation on there. Is pretty. Is actually really good. Um, but yeah, all these different ones. What's up, Heavy Core Project? King of FM is free. Yes, King of FM is good. I have that one too, and it's free. That is so true. I don't know about pads either on that, but I know it's a good one to have. I think it's supposed to be like a DX7, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a DX7 is what it's like an emulation of a DX7. Um, but I'm trying to think more pads. I'm with you on the pads thing because that's what I like to use on a lot of stuff. And sometimes you can use them as like soundscape textures and stuff. What else is out there that's pads? There's ways to get on some stuff where you can make pads too, but if that's not your if that's not your bag or your way, because some people don't want to make stuff. Let's do this. AUV3 pads. I'm looking through here real quick to see if there was anything else that might stand out. You can use oh, and if you haven't got Relic Waves, I talked about that one. Grab Relic Waves. It's super cheap, and it's. I think you could create some pads using some of the sounds from there, which is pretty good. And it's only $2, by the way. So why not, right? Get all the relic stuff and fractal bits too. If you like glitchy kind of stuff, get fractal bits. Um, Borderlands has not become an AUV3 yet, but Borderlands is still one of the best for if you're trying to make like granulized type music. It's a granulator. That's what it pretty much is. Pads. What else is out there that's really good? I think any of the Moog stuff, the Model 15 and the Model D, they're not all necessarily for a pad, but you can use them, and they have different settings in there. And that's pretty much it. There's some other. I have so many of those synths, but my iPad is only like 256 gigs, so I don't put everything on there. I only put the stuff that I'm really using on there. Terraverse is made by the same. They also make the cinematic one. Let me see if I can find it for you. See if I can find Terraverse. I think it's Tearvea. No, let me see. Here it is. Here, excuse me. Here's what it looks like. It's Teraverse, Terraverse, and it's only $2.99. So I gotta actually get that one. I don't have that one either. Um, so yeah, that's that one. There you go on that one. Cool. Somebody, thank you, Heavy C, Heavy Core rather project. I'm looking at stuff sideways to read your chat. So it's voice type pads. What do you mean by voice type pads? You mean like choirs and stuff? Is that what you mean by voice type pads? If you mean that, I would say get the one Terraverse. The person who makes that also makes this cinematic uh app. And that one's if it's still on sale for 19.99, it's a good grab because they were trying to get some crazy number at some point for that. And I was like, no way in the world. Korg Model Pro. Korg Model Pro does have some. Oh, you mean for voices like okay, so like choirs. Yes, they do have some, but Korg Model Pro is kind of pricey. But if you want it and you want it for other stuff, then yeah, it's worth it. But if not, I would go with something like Cinematics. I keep probably saying it wrong. Apologies. Cool. Glad you found the Terraverse and all that stuff. Yeah. So check those out. And if you guys type in comments and stuff like stuff you want to know about or look at, I'll be glad to do videos um, for whatever you want to see. I have no problem with doing that. So we can get some more different types of videos. I have a ton of apps, even if they're not on my iPad. They're in there. I just have to go back and re-download them. I have Korg Model Pro and all that stuff. But yeah, it's fun stuff. So yeah, so just keep making. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that on. Just keep making music, and I'm gonna end the stream now. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you all for stopping in. What was the choir app? Oh, um, so let me find that before I go. Hold on, let me help you out. That yeah, so if you go to, I'm gonna show it to you. Cinematic, and I think you have to look under. So I'm gonna show you one tip I do for finding stuff too, because it is one of the worst things in the world. So let's say you go into this app, if you find the developer's name, just click on that and it'll show you everything. There it is right there. See it? And the free version only has like 3 or 4 sounds, so it ain't worth it. If you're gonna get it, you gotta go on and get it. And they make a Terra Pro, but I think the Terraverse is the one that has all the stuff. But yeah, touch on Harry Gall's, I don't know if that's right, and you'll be able to see all his apps in there that he makes. He makes quite a bit of them too. Good lord. And they keep going. And there's other ones. Oh my. Okay. Yep. So there you go. You can see there's a ton of them. And that's the one he's talking about is this one right here. Where you can blend at least 3 sounds, right? and create a new sound. So that's what he was talking about. Hopefully that helped you. Yeah, man. Thanks, BBN. Appreciate you stopping by as always. And hopefully you figure out, how to work your apps and stuff and send it into your SP and your other, like your devices, so you don't have any issues. Yeah, Pippa is good by Clev Grand. I forgot about Pippa. Thank you for mentioning that, Heavy Core. Yep, no problem, Bad Lux. That's what we do. Just help each other out, find stuff, and see that. Well, like I said, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go do something like called eating. I'm kind of hungry, and then yeah, I'll be at some point. You'll see some more videos and things popping up because I try to do at least a video a day, if not more, and just trying to put out videos so on different ideas and concepts and trying to shorten videos too. So yeah, right, thanks Mubar for stopping in to make it easier for us to learn. So all right, somebody's alarm is going off outside. All right, I'm out. I'll talk to you later.